What is truth? Uh, Especially when it comes to yourself. Uh, what what type of person do you think you are? What's your self-belief? This is who I am. Those phrases like I can't go to that place. That's not who I am. I don't do that. That's not who I am. And just turns out you just might be a product of your environment, your parents, your school, your childhood friends, the guy who bullied you, the pastor who raised you in your church, the content you took up on television, like your favorite actors, and eventually they morph a personality and some beliefs which could be good, which could be bad, which could be limiting you in some ways, which could also be liberating in some ways. But today we want to talk about just how flexible you should allow yourself to be when it comes to uh, self beliefs. My name is Craig,
My name is Surprise.
and we're gonna like just link that to how we relate with it in dentistry.
Can you shut up?
Okay, so there is this concept in Buddhism called anatta. And anatta is a concept that says there is no, in a nutshell, that the self is not fixed, you know? So if you say, I am an angry person, if you say, I am a difficult person, that is not true because you are anything you want to be. And those behaviors you exhibit and those lifestyle choices that you have chosen can be changed because you're not fixed. And, we hear a lot of stuff like people say, I'm an anxious person and I'm a shy person, but that is not the case. You exhibit those behaviors, but they are not fixed and those behaviors can be changed.
Yeah, like we're not saying anxiety isn't true. You are anxious. You are feeling anxious. There are some events that trigger anxiety in you. But like to sum up your whole existence as a person who's always having like panic attacks and anxious attacks, like that can cage you in. And like it's kind of hard to also imagine your life without being uh the anxious person. And as he said, what anatta,
Anatta, yeah.
that is like version one of yourself. That is the person you had to be to get where you are right now. But once you step outside of your daddy's house, you go to university, you go get a job, whatever path you decide to take, you'll experience other things in life as well. And you should allow yourself to have like a version point, like version 2.0, and then version 2.1 if you have to, because you have to keep on evolving and allowing yourself to take on as many forms as you can. You do version 2.1, doesn't work, another one. you know, 2.0 doesn't work, and you go to 2.4. Like you gotta upgrade the iOS. So the people in my family have bad teeth. It doesn't necessarily mean that by the age of 29, you also should have lost almost like half of your teeth, because there are ways that you can prevent it. Say grandma had like dental disease, and then daddy also had some caries, mom also had some things. Like genetically, vroom. Genetically, you might be susceptible to most of those diseases. But with like modern technology and like an access of dentists everywhere and a lot of information online, you can floss, you can watch what you eat, you can brush your teeth in the morning and at night, and you might die with all of your teeth. And that is just allowing yourself to just shift a little bit. So instead of like, everyone in my family has bad teeth, I'm not going to brush my teeth. Everyone in my family has struggles with bad breath. I'm not going to floss. I don't care. Oh, my smile is ugly, so why keep it clean? Like it forms like a little loop there, and you kind of cage yourself. And it's uncomfortable to like step out of it and try something different. But again, go to another one,
Anatta one.
another one.
Well, what you're saying is true, the whole caging in thing. Sometimes you hear people say, "Oh, I haven't been to," because there's a post we dropped, and it was just like a funny post where they said, "When was the last time you went to the dentist?" And people were saying, "I've not been there since I was born." And it's easy to get trapped in the cycle of, well, I mean, I've not done this, so why should I do it anyway?
Mhm.
Encaging yourself into thinking that that's how it's been and that's how I should be. And you don't have to be like that. Look, all I'm saying is, just because you haven't had the means to or the access to see a dentist or a doctor or whoever for the past 30 years,
Yeah.
once you get those means, doesn't mean you should just say, well, I've not done this. You should. You should. Don't cage yourself into thinking, this is who I am. I don't go to the doctor. Who goes to the doctor? It's like, no, you're not that person. And I know people say, why should I go to a doctor? Why should I go to a GP? Why should I go to a dentist? Why should I do all that stuff? Well, our bodies are not perfect and are susceptible to wear and tear. And as you grow older, things do pop up, and you want to catch something before it becomes a very serious problem. You want to catch the gum disease before it happens.
Mhm.
Because again, I keep saying, they said my grandmother's teeth fell out because she ate ice. And you know what? My mother's teeth could have fallen out, and I could have said, well, this is the natural state of things. This is how things are in my family. We just lose teeth. But it's not the case. And the first way to do that is opening up and not caging yourself into thinking that, I will only go there when I have a problem. Opening up and saying, let me just go there because I want to go there and check what's going on.
Yeah.
So opening up yourself to new things is part of the process of anatta, part of the process of 2.4, 2.3, saying, look, I am turning 35. I should take my health more seriously. I should exercise more. I should eat healthy. It's not, oh, I've been eating like this all my life. That's who I am. It's like, no, you can't change that stuff.
Exactly. So like I think with most people that I've seen, like I've interacted with, like I'm in my 30s, and like other people in their 30s will talk about their parents like, oh, this is where my parents messed up. This is like what they did wrong. They could have done this better. My life would have been good. Where were you when Mutsipe was working hard? Like you must realize like your parents grew up under different in a different environment from you, and like they tried their best, and they used whatever resources they had, but like at the same time, there were four of you. They probably did a different job with like firstborn, secondborn, thirdborn. If you're number four, and they were already tired, maybe even skipping some chapters. Like they weren't there, and like they were focusing on like feeding you, dressing you, making sure you go to school. There are some things that like you got from your environment that makes you who you are right now. And in the same way that you're critical of your parents, those things that you're finding difficulty in forgiving, like I can't forgive my dad for that. Like you must take a step back and realize that you might have similar flaws in a way that uh, because of how you were raised, and like you can the way you can be critical of them, you can be critical of yourself. So think, why am I saying I'm a shy person? What makes a shy person? Is it hereditary? Can you inherit it? Or if you just stepped out and went like, hi, my name is Craig, and what's your name? Oh yeah, beautiful weather today. It feels uncomfortable at first. Like we're not saying it's easy, but it's worth a shot to just try something else, stepping out of the comfort zone. Because like when you cage yourself in there, it forms back to the other video we made about being stuck in a loop, because then you'll start avoiding dentists, and then you're in pain, and then it costs you more, and then you hate us more, and then you're more afraid of us. And then with your kids, you'll be like, keep being naughty, we're going to take you to the dentist, and it's going to inject you, and then that's just going to make them afraid. And then you know what they're going to say to me? I don't like dentists, I don't want to be here. It just forms a loop. So you have to step outside, because like we're not that scary looking, and we're not out here to hurt you. Most of the time we want to help. Most of the time most people want to help. People who are social get something from it. People who work out get something from it. If you check out our first video, you'll see I had like bigger cheeks, and I've been like chubby my entire life. That's just how I've been. I've never thought I would like fit into size 32s. I didn't fit in those pants since I was like 16, and you can see these guns now, you know? So, and I just did that at 31, 32. And so it wasn't easy. It's hard to step out of like what's your normal. And if this fails, I'll just try something else next year and like become a newer version, whatever 33-year-old me will need. I'll have to like try and morph myself into that.
Indeed. And I can also give a testimony about the concept of the non-fixed self. I've in dental school, we have a thing called quota. So I struggled with dexterity a lot, like getting the dexterity
We've
right.
seen you dance.
Yeah. So I've got very horrible dexterity, like horrible. Like just, I play the guitar now, but it took me a while to learn it. But I could have just said, you know what? I've got horrible dexterity, therefore I should not be furthering myself in this field. I've got horrible dexterity, therefore I should just give basic work. But once you step out there, you're like, no, man, I can push myself. I can, okay, maybe my dexterity is not the fastest, but I can certainly improve it. And that
Hmm.
pushing myself, and trying to do work which isn't that beautiful work has allowed me to like have cases that I look at and say, wow, this is beautiful.
Impressive work. Yeah.
And I've had other dentists say your work is impressive. But like you would have not had said that about me if you've seen what I was initially doing. So it's like you are not fixed to who you are today. And like just because you have bad dexterity or just because you struggle in mathematics doesn't mean that's who you are. Those things can be broken through. And also anything else in life, whether it's weight loss, whether it's keeping healthy, money, those things are things you can change. Obviously, it's not easy. I mean, it's not easy to go see a dentist if you haven't seen a dentist for 10 years.
It's hard.
It's hard. And that's the thing. I wouldn't say, oh my gosh, this is the most easiest thing. And in fact, if you say I haven't seen a dentist in 10 years, I usually take it easy. I'm like, okay, let's not do so much for one day because I know the experience can be jarring. Imagine the first day you see me, I'm like,
Root canal, extraction, veneers, crowns, implants. Like, that's overwhelming.
it's overwhelming. So, I mean, I would do that mental calculation and say, okay, this guy hasn't been to a dentist. Let's take it as slow as possible. So it's not that I'm saying this like, oh, it's so easy. Just come to the dentist and, oh, well, it's like, it's hard, but you have to do it because you know what? Nature doesn't care, Um,
Mm-mm.
if you see some ancient skulls, they had extracted teeth. So dental problems have been a issue since the modern diet that we have, and they're not going anywhere. So nature doesn't care. So you should care so that you don't end up with problems that keep you up at night and cost an arm and a leg.
Yeah. So like when you are trapped in your own identity of who you are, that doesn't stop the reality of how the world works. The laws of nature, as I said, like nature, it can be cruel sometimes. So just because you don't believe in something doesn't mean it won't apply to you. When you make the choice to, I'm never gonna see a dentist, I don't want to get my bloods checked, I don't want to check my sugar level, I don't want to check my high blood level, I don't want to do a prostate exam, I don't want to exercise, no, I don't want to eat a salad, I'm not a rabbit. All of those things eventually will have some consequences. And if you are aware of those consequences, it's okay if you choose to. Every person has the right of choice. But the problem is if you cage yourself in and like you let life pass you by and let life happen to you, um, it just becomes harder and harder. And I remember in varsity, like I used to write sad songs with my guitar and whatnot. And I would just be stuck on like, I don't even see myself happy. I couldn't see a happy version of me. And then I realized like I'm much more afraid of losing this version of me, this comfort, this safety in who I am, than actually the next version I could be. Like the current self could be holding you back from just experiencing something new. experiencing love differently, experiencing friendships differently. Like if all your friendships, you have to make new friends every year because like you keep cutting off people, you might just have to take a step back, look in the mirror. There might be a common denominator, and it's okay to make some changes for the better. So it's not just about your teeth, not just about your health. It could be also about your money, your relationship with your parents, relationship with God, relationship with anything that matters to you.
Indeed. In
Yeah.
fact, that's part of the process of growing, is letting old parts of yourself die. And yes, honestly, it's sometimes painful to watch those aspects of you die because you're so tied to them, you know? You're so tied to the whole thought that I am this type of person. And to kind of, I remember, this is a personal one, when I realized how I found philosophy just too depressing.
Yeah.
I was like, this is way too depressing. It was painful because I've always identified as like, a deep philosopher, getting into the nitty-gritty, but acknowledging that it can get quite depressing at times was a painful thought because, you've tied your image around this thing. But now, as I let it go, I mean, I think I still appreciate philosophy, but I appreciate it from a different angle. So letting parts of yourself go is painful. Um, Realizing that, you're the common denominator in many of the issues. Looking yourself in the mirror and say, I am the problem, is a painful thing. And sometimes you look at yourself for 1 second and you just duck and you say, whoa, that's scary. But it's good to do it because at the end of the day, you know, it's evolution, it's you opening up to another one.
Kind of DJ Khaled. Well, to wrap it up, I'll also close with like a personal testimony. Like I always quit everything, like whenever it gets boring or it gets tedious, that's not exciting, or it just doesn't feel right anymore, I would always quit. And I think for about 5 years into this practice, and voila, this new version of me persists, and there's also probably something about you that like you personally believe in. You could make something cool one day. So just surprise yourself. Call your dentist. Give us a call. Pay us a visit. And we'll take it easy with you.
See you on the next one.